Hey, welcome back. This is Señor again, playing some Call of Duty, and I'm going to talk about some funny working stories that I've had throughout my life. I wrote down a few different ideas, so I'll just start with the top one here in just a second. Before I do that, I'll do my gamer nerd update. This is a game of regular team deathmatch on Summit on Black Ops 4. This game, I believe, this map was first released in Black Ops 1, along with the map I played in my previous video, Firing Range. I'm using the ICR-7 with red dot sight, and I can't remember what attachment I have on there. You'll notice at the end of the game that my team was terrible, minus me. We do lose in the end. But let's just get to it. So my first story, I worked fast food for about 3 years in a local fast food Mexican restaurant, and I worked there for 3 years. I worked my way up from just a grunt to a crew chief. I was super special. And my first story comes with regards to this guy who came into the store, and he complained to the manager about there being something on his food that he asked to not have on there. And she had made the food, and she knew that she didn't put it on there, so she remade it for him. And the thing he didn't want on this food was onions. So what she did was she took some onions in her hand and she squeezed onion juice onto his food and then sent him on his way with it. So it tasted like onions, but there wasn't any actually physically chunky onions in there. So he came back and said there were onions in it, and of course when they opened up the food, there weren't any onions to be found. That goes to show you, don't mess with your cook, because that's something that could happen. Still with the same place, the same fast food restaurant, another story I have is one time, I think in the same day, it might have been over a span of a couple days, but I had two people call in and file a complaint about me with the manager. And the manager kind of came up to me and was like, "What is going on here?" Because she knew me and knew that I was pretty much one of the nicest people that worked in the store or in the restaurant. So she didn't understand it, and was like, "I don't know. What do you want me to do about it? I can't do anything." It's really weird that someone would actually take their time, go home. This is really before the time of people having cell phones readily available to them, and then look up the phone number for the place I was working and call and complain about me. I don't even know what I did, but I thought it was laughable, funny. And then I got one more story too about working in the fast food restaurant. There was this other employee there who was uh, consistently very, very annoying, and she would get on our nerves. And one time I was filling up the sour cream guns, which basically is just a tube that you put a bunch of sour cream in and you load it into what kind of looks like a caulking gun. Actually, I think it probably is just like a fat caulking gun, and then you just squirt sour cream out on the food with it. But she was doing something to annoy me while I was filling those sour cream guns. I think she actually tried to like throw some food at me, and to fill the sour cream guns, you have to use just basically an ice cream scoop, and you take a big tub of sour cream and you scoop it in there. And because she was bothering me, I was scooping the ice cream out, and I had a big old scoop of sour cream in the ice cream scoop, and I just chucked it at her, and I just hit her. She kind of turned, and it hit her on the back, and just this big old ball of sour cream smashed everywhere on her back and all over the ground and the wall and stuff like that. I had to clean it up, but it was worth the throw. Let's switch gears to waiting. I actually worked as a waiter or server, if you prefer, slash busser at a restaurant that was at a golf course. It's still there in the town where I live. It's not, or at the time, it wasn't really super popular. They had a small lunch crowd just from people that played golf, and then occasionally they'd have a decent dinner crowd, just depending on the day of the week usually. And this one time, one of the local high schools that was going through their, the prom or senior ball or whatever you call it. So I had a table of probably about 8 or 10 students from this high school there, and they were all dressed up nice. The boys had tuxes on and suits on. Girls had their dresses on and looked like they were going to a fancy dance, like they should. And being that these are high schoolers, their drink orders were varied, meaning there was water, there were sodas, there was juice, there was even a milk amongst these 10 people, which I thought was really weird to order milk. But when I was carrying the tray of drinks over to them, which was actually pretty heavy because I had like a drink for everybody. So 10 glass cups full of various drinks. So I was carrying it over to them on my hand, and I was still pretty new. Like I'd only been waiting tables probably for a few months, and I started putting the drinks down. I lost it. I lost my balance of the drinks, and I probably dumped like half of them onto one of the boys' jackets, and it kind of just like went down all his jacket, and there was a lot of milk that went on him. And I felt really bad, and the worst part though is like right as I did it, the restaurant wasn't super huge, but I dropped an S-bomb like just super loud. I just shouted it, and I'm pretty sure like everybody in the restaurant heard me yell it. They didn't fire me, which was nice of them, but they did. The restaurant did have to take the jacket, and they paid to have it dry cleaned and everything. So I got off kind of lucky on that one. The other story I have with waiting tables at this restaurant was this one time a family of four came in, and generally speaking, if you have four people come in for dinner, you're gonna, even if they give you a smaller tip, you'll probably get a fairly decent tip, you know. And nobody wanted to serve them, so I was like, all right, I'll take them. And while I'm working the table, the other waiters finally tell me that no one wants to serve them because the guy always leaves the same tip, $4. So sure enough, his bill comes out to be like $80, and I did a good job. You know, I was nice and friendly, did everything they needed. Even a 10% tip, which would not be a very nice tip, but a 10% tip would be $8. And the guy did it. He left me $4 for an $80 bill, and I just thought that was crazy. And I was kind of mad, but at the same time, whatever. You know, it's just a job, getting some money. It looks like this video is almost over. I had one more story for you, but I guess I'll have to save it for next time. So thanks for stopping in on this video. If you have any funny stories that happened to you, maybe drop them in the comment section if they're not too long. If you have any comments, questions, requests, or anything, let me know. You can see here at the end there the score. I was the only one on my team that had a positive ratio. That made me kind of mad. Okay, thanks guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Adios.